We have work to do. There will be no dawn for men. Show them no mercy. Spare no one. We shall rule Middle-earth. A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand.
Hi, how are you? Link's New Wave here, bringing you another video. Today we're doing Amon Hen.
Amon Hen was once the northern guard post of Gondor. It now lies in ruin, as will all of this land in due time.
Possess the ring. Hide in these forests. Search the surrounding area for the hobbits. Kill anything that gets in your way.
Well, let's get right into this. First thing we're going to do is take the northeast camp. We'll get a lumber camp going and kill all the elves that charge at us. This episode is going to be a little bit different though. Usually I focus like on strategy or just gaming in general and stuff like that. But this time around, Amon Hen it's close to my heart because, well, there's so much that happens in this part of the story, right? And like, even though we're doing the evil campaign and stuff, in the books, in the movie, like this particular chapter is just, it's very hard hitting and people just don't focus on it enough, so I'm going to talk about it. Text message. Well, Amon Hen is about choosing a path and dealing with the consequences, right? It revolves, like, Amon Hen is in the chapter breaking of the fellowship, right? The theme for this episode is that every journey reaches a fork in the road. The fellowship arrives at Amon Hen because they can't continue as they have been. Everybody wants something different. So today we're at Amon Hen, one of the most important moments in Middle-earth. This is where the fellowship begins to break apart, and everyone has to decide what path they're going to take. Funny enough, that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've been doing a lot of work in the oil field. I've been getting a break because of an injury of mine, but I also want to do YouTube. I mainly want to do YouTube. I don't think I'll ever be a full-time YouTuber unless you guys make it so, but I'm being pulled from stability sometimes, like with the war going on, like the oil prices are weird and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that, let's see what I wrote down in my notes. I think that everybody reaches an Amon Hen moment eventually. You get comfortable with where you are, but you also want something different. The hard part isn't knowing what you want. The hard part is choosing. Ooh, so this is some good stuff right here. I choose to create a stable environment for my family and my loved ones because that's what I have to do, right? Family's first. You take care of those around you, and then you follow your dreams. Unless you're single, then, you know, you have more options and stuff like that. Yeah, I want to create videos, and I won't always have the time for it. Like, I got like 2 months in between episodes here. 2 months. The fact is, I'm trying to choose what I can and what I should before my YouTube channel, of course. And plus, I also get lazy, right? Like, I get lazy. I don't want to make a video when I come home from work, you know? Like, I just don't want to do that. Not all the time, anyway. Let's see. I got it reorganized. Yes. The second part of this. The fellowship didn't fail because they hated each other. They failed in this particular chapter because their goals became different, right? Frodo wanted to go a different direction and wanted to leave the fellowship behind. And the other guys end up wanting to go to Gondor or Rohan, you know, make for the gap, basically, right? So a relatable piece of this part of the story, right? Is like friends changing, gaming groups fading away, different life priorities, and growing older. All those things are pretty relatable. Small decisions that people make change the way their life works a lot of times, right? So like a small decision can be like a chain reaction. Like I want to do YouTube, so I bought a better mic, Elgato, whatever I need, parts, PC, storage mainly. I just got these free trolls here. We're about to go for Gimli here in a second. I found that rooting Gimli works for the most part, but he can still do his butt stomp and kill a bunch of your guys. So you got to be careful about that. But back on the topics, right? I do have to upgrade my processor eventually, right? Because my processor's bottlenecking my PC setup. A small decision could be like meeting other people instead of hanging out with the same old people all the time, same friend group, which I don't do that because I'm a bit antisocial. I don't really like go out of my way to meet people. I'm not a people person. Although a lot of people, they really go for that sort of thing. I don't get it, but some people do, right? Some people do that. They're a social butterfly, so they gotta feed into that. Yeah, so going back to the game here, for strategy, you want to like pull enemies without pulling all of the enemies, just like some groups at a time, like aggroing them. When you're playing evil, you don't really win through honor 1v1s or like one guy kills everybody. You gotta put on the pressure with numbers. I mean, Isengard, it's not numbers that Isengard has numbers, but you have higher quality troops with Isengard, whereas Mordor, it's all about pressure, just constant, like relentless pressure. But with Isengard, you get high quality troops. If you make a combo, you make a sword archer combo with armor and fire arrows, like it's almost unstoppable. Like they're super strong. I got a quote here that I wanted to read. Success isn't always about talent. Sometimes it's about showing up every day and applying pressure longer than everyone else. I wish that I could apply pressure to YouTube, more often, but sometimes I want to output like quality videos and I don't have it, I don't know why I paused there, but yeah. Yes, what was it? Oh yeah. So Isengard industry, preparation, numbers, relentless pressure. I guess numbers, that's more of a Mordor thing. Isengard, you can just stick with a couple of units. I don't know why, but I didn't use any summons. Ugluk gets summons on this map, and I just never used it. Which you can summon the small orc army or whatever, and they can tank all the arrows while you guys kill everybody and get all the XP. It's a good strat. But I just didn't do that for some reason. And I got swordsmen running around by themselves for some reason. I had a challenge. I have a challenge right now trying to figure out how I can make YouTube videos while working. And I also am trying to bring good commentary, because good commentary doesn't just happen, right? So like here I am just giving commentary. I want people to be able to watch and listen and be engaged and, feel better about themselves after watching my videos, or, like laugh a bit, or just have some good quality entertainment, for YouTube. That's what I'm hoping to build. So, yeah. I got some more free trolls. I don't know how. I think it's part of a bonus challenge. I didn't even click the flag this mission for some reason. What's this? Okay. What lesson does Saruman teach us today? Build your economy before your army. Have a plan before battle. Pressure creates opportunities. Don't underestimate your opponent. That's everything that I wrote down, except it's restructured by ChatGPT. And yeah, that's all true. Pressure does create opportunities. That could be applied to almost any game, really. Of course, don't underestimate your opponent. There's that too, but it's AI, so it's not a big deal. Have a plan before battle. That's definitely AI. I'm just gonna say leave that one out, because of course you're gonna have a plan before battle. Like that goes without saying. What do my notes say? This is the mission I remember, because it's the end of one journey and the beginning of several others. Merry and Pippin's, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, later Gandalf. He joins back because he didn't, he died, but he comes back as Gandalf the White and stuff. Complicated stuff. But Frodo and Sam, they're doing their own thing. Merry and Pippin are doing their own thing. And Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are doing their own thing. The most important moments in life feel that way too. You don't realize you're standing at the crossroads until years later. Amon Hen has a very, very relatable, because everybody hits the crossroads at one point in their life and they have to choose things over others. And the ending for Amon Hen, right? The end of the Fellowship of the Ring, right? That's basically what it is. The breaking of the Fellowship. It's the kind of ending that lingers after the battle is over, because the ending crosses over into both the Two Towers and the Return of the King with those decisions that are made. Amon Hen is one of those moments in Middle-earth that always stood out to me, because it feels like the point where everything changes. Up until this point, the Fellowship is still together, still moving as one group, still trying to hold the original mission together. But Amon Hen is where that starts to break. Everybody's being pulled in different directions. Everybody's dealing with responsibilities of their own, as well as their own fears. And by the end of it, there's no going back to how things were before. Honestly, I think that's how life works too. Everybody eventually has that moment where they hit their own version of Amon Hen. You get to a point where the road you've been on doesn't quite fit anymore. Or maybe it still fits, but there's something else calling you. Something different, something bigger. Sometimes it's a job. Sometimes it's a relationship. Sometimes it's a creative goal. And sometimes it's just that feeling in the back of your mind telling you that you can't stay where you are forever. For me, I think about that a lot with YouTube and work. Because on one side, you got stability. You got the thing that pays the bills, the thing that's familiar, the thing you already know how to do. And then on the other side, you got this other road. And maybe it's uncertain. Maybe it's slower. Maybe there's no guarantee it works out. But it feels like it matters to you. It feels like it's yours. And that's the weird thing about the crossroads. The hardest part usually isn't knowing what you want. It's accepting that you really want a different future. Eventually, you have to start walking in different directions. That's why Amon Hen hits so hard as a story moment. It's not just about battle, it's about the end of one path and the beginning of several others.
Sauron's dominion over Middle-earth draws near.
Frodo has to make a choice, and Aragorn has to make a choice. Everybody gets separated, and even though it feels like a disaster in the moment, it's also the one thing that pushes the story forward. If the Fellowship stayed exactly the same forever, the story wouldn't move, and I think that's true in life too. A lot of growth doesn't happen when everything stays comfortable. It happens when something changes, when something breaks apart, and when you're forced to figure it out. Figure out who you are and where you're going. So while I'm over here trying not to get my army completely wiped out at Amon Hen, I think that's what makes this mission memorable. It's the feeling that change is here whether you are ready for it or not. And sometimes you choose the next step. Sometimes you choose the next step that chooses you. But either way, eventually you've got to move. And if you're lucky, maybe a few years later, you'll look back and realize that that moment, everything was falling apart, but that's actually the moment that made your real path beginning or started. I wanted to put a little bit of the emotional weight of Amon Hen, even though this is the evil campaign and a new power is rising, and Saruman is obliterating elves and Rohirrim constantly, and we just obliterated Haldir and his guys too, you know, like. But I'm trying something a little different this time. So bear with me. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.